Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable the Examiners, good morning. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Tasya Azahra from English Education Program. In this lovely morning, I would like to thank for the opportunities that have been given to me to present my proposal. With the title The Effectiveness of Music Video Towards Students' Ability in Writing Narrative Text. I choose this title because nowadays the use of teaching media is important to support teaching and learning process. For the first, I would like to show you the content of this proposal. For the first is chapter 1. It is the introduction. It presents about the introduction of the research. Second, chapter 2. Review of related literature. It consists of some theories which support this research. And the last is chapter 3. Research method. It discusses methodology used in this research. In this chapter 1, researcher present about the introduction of the research. It contains background of the research problem, objective of the research, significance of the research, and the scope and limitation of the research. As we know that English is one of the subject that has an important role in uh, education, especially as foreign language, because English spread widely as international language. People from different countries use English to communicate each other. So English is a language that often used by people in this world. In Indonesia, English also studied at school as the compulsory subject, which every student must mastering in every types of skill. There are four types of skills of communication in English that have to be mastered by the student. For the first is speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Also, the, the also from for communication skill, the most difficult skill by a student is writing. In writing skills, students who have lack of grammar, poor vocabulary, and hard in writing always get some difficulties. So, to overcome student difficulties, researchers found that teenagers interest in some popular things. As I stated here, there are music, movie, music video, or MV. And the other popular writing is novel, short story, storybook, etc. Some of these popular things here, it can encourage students' motivation to learn English, especially in writing, because from these popular things get they can get right idea to write. Based on the background above, the research problem uh, to be a research are: what is student ability in writing narrative text by conventional method? And the second one is how effective of student Role effectives of music video towards students' ability in writing narrative text. And from the research problem, the objective of the research is um, researcher wants to know about students' ability in writing narrative text. Researcher one and the second one, researcher want to know how effective of music video towards students' ability in writing narrative text. Based on the objective of the research above, the significance of the research, it gives a student, teacher, and researcher benefit from this research. Based on the significance of the research above, the scope and limitation is the scope and limitation of this research is the content of this research will be focused on finding the effectiveness of music video towards students' ability in writing a narrative text. In this research, the participant is limited to 10 grade students of SMK and Jawa. Chapter 2. In this chapter consists of some theories which support this study. I took some of theories related to the topic from many sources. This chapter includes review of the previous study, review of theoretical background, which consists of the explanation writing skill, on its definition, the purpose of writing, the process of writing, creative writing, and the kinds of writing. The review of the previous study. There was a study conducted by Devi Gandhari Agustha by the title Improving Students' Ability in Writing Narrative Text Using Short Animated Stories. In her research, she found that audiovisual media makes students learn English and write more by watching short animated video of Maling Gundang and Bawang Putih and dan Bawang Merah. And there is another research conducted by Intan Febriana Wulandini by the title The Effectiveness of Illustration of Music Towards Students' Ability in Writing Poetry. In her research, she found that music media can improve students' interest in students' mood. If Devi Gantari Agusta used any short animated stories to improve children's writing skill, I use music videos consist of song, story, and lyric from Taylor Swift, Cardigan, and Christina Aguilera by the title Loyal Breakthrough from Mulan. Review of the theoretical background. In review of the theoretical background, there are some topic here. For the first, writing skill, the second, narrative text, and the third, music video. In writing skill, according to Lubis 2014, the writer imagines, organizes, composes, edits, and reads. It also a process and a project. The purpose of writing. The purpose of writing paper According to Tarikan 2008, for the first is assignment purpose. In this purpose, there is no common goal of the author because a writer only writes something because it is only a task. It is not his own wish. For the second, there is a persuasive purpose, informational purpose, self-expressive purpose, creative purpose, and problem-solving purpose. And the next, there's a process of writing. According to Lubis 2014, the process of writing, there are writing, planning, composing, it called writing, modification or rearranging, and editing. And there are three other stages that the teacher applies to students from outside, namely response or sharing, evaluation, and writing letter. Creative writing. According to Chalkin 2018, creative is a part of the creative writing refers to writing that is unusual, according to Arsanti 2018. Because in creative writing, we, we need a think, brainstorming, and to get the creative writing. In creative writing, there is a narrative, role, development, viewpoints, and informal language style. In In writing skill, there is a kind of writing. The kind of, in general, it divided to two kind of writing. For the first is fictional, and the second is non-fictional. Fictional writing are often referred to as it's called like novel, story, story, fable, and essay. And the non-fiction is writing based on fact or reality. And from fictional and non-fiction writing, it uh, divided into four kinds of writing. For the first is exposition, the second is persuasive, the third narrative, and the fourth is descriptive. Here I will concern to the narrative writing. In narrative writing, there is a component of narrative. For the first is orientation. In orientation, uh, it the content of the topic in the story, so like activity or event which wonderfully will be taught. And the second complication is the details about the activities or event which problematic which are arranged sequence from introduction, conflict until climax. And the third, resolution. The function of resolution, the content of problem solving has taught until the climax. In the last coda, the function of coda to give the moral lesson or moral value of the story. And the second is elements in narrative. There is plot, setting, character, conflict, and the last moral value. It have a relation in the components of narrative. And narrative also have kinds or genres. For the verse, there are fairy tale, mystery, science fiction, romance, horror, fable, myth, and legend, history, slice of life, and personal experience. So let's talk about the music video. Music video is the content. The music video is built to promote the song of the music music video present by visual symbols depicting violence, racism, social conflict, religion, love, and even politics and other sensitive topics. In music video is based on the lyric of the song. In music video, there is a sequence of activity of the visual. In teaching and learning process, teacher sometimes use music or short animated video. So the researcher use music video to the teaching media. Why? Because music video give benefit to students. Music video can be an alternative media to get some ideas to express in writing. And music video also give benefit to teachers. This music video can be used as a constructive medium to teach how to write text according to the general structure of the narrative text. So from the theoretical background above, researchers conclude that the research hypothesis is alternative hypothesis. There is significant difference on students' ability in writing narrative text and conventional method. In chapter 3. In this chapter, discuss the methodology of this research. It contains research design, research variable, population and sample, research instrument, validity and reliability, data collecting techniques. The research design. In this research, researchers use a quantitative approach with experimental method with one group pretest post-test design because in this research, researchers want to know the effectiveness of um, a treatment to other in control condition. This method is a way to find a relation of cause effect between two factors. Research variable. In research variable, it consists of two variables. The first variable is music video as independent variables, and the second variable is students' ability in writing narrative text as dependent variable. Next, population in sample. The population of this research consists of all students of SNKM 1 Region 1. In the sample of this research, the sampling technique the researcher used is cluster random sampling or group sample, which the sample of the research from 200 students, researcher used 40 students for sample. In this research, researchers use a test or researchers use test score as instrument to know the effectiveness of the treatment on student writing skill. The validity and reliability. The validity is an important requirement and consideration in evaluating the interpretation of the result and the use that are made of those results according to Lin 2010. From the validity, the application of validity is the test is contained and built up through researcher give a test to control class to look the test in order to check the validity. Then researcher give a test to the sample class. And the reliability, researcher use reliability measurement with Chromebook Alpha with following category. And the data collecting technique. For the first researcher, a preliminary visit to the school In the second step, researcher contact the master, teacher contact the teacher. After that, researcher give the pretest to the students. The researcher give the story writing pretest to both groups before using music video as media in experimental class. Researcher give the pretest before giving the treatment to the class to know how far students' ability in writing native text. After that, this researcher gives the treatment. Researcher divides sample in random into two groups, Group A and Group B. Researcher gives treatment to experimental by using music video, and a researcher gives the treatment to the control group without using music video. And the last researcher gives the post-test to the both group to know the effectiveness of eh, the music video. These are the source of this research. The honorable examiners, I have presented all of my proposal from chapter 1 until chapter 3. That's all about my presentation. Thank you very much for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.